Today we're going to look at installing the SmartScreen post and rail system. Strol decorative screens are a great way to create privacy around your home, separate outdoor spaces like your entertainment area and barbecue, or to hide rubbish and recycling bins. There are a great range of screens to choose from, and because the SmartScreen post and rail system is simply a framework, you can mix and match any of our designs to create a unique look for your home. The system allows for multiple configurations, mixing different heights as well as placing vertically or stacking them horizontally. Throughout the video, I will talk about SmartScreen sections. This is basically the section of screens placed between two posts, which could be one tall vertical SmartScreen or screens that are horizontally stacked. For today's project, we're going to create this privacy screen. We're going to place two vertical screens to block off this old garden and stop a bit of wind from coming through to the barbecue area. But with the steps we're going to show you, you should be able to create any design, depending on what you've got in mind. Firstly, we're going to be placing our screen into this wooden beam, but you can place the system onto a concrete patio or a wooden deck, or if you want to place the system directly onto your lawn, you can concrete them into the ground just like a normal fence post. The SmartScreen post and rail system comes in two main components. The post comes with a base plate welded to the bottom, a top plate and three reversible adapter rails. The top and bottom rails come with 4 angle brackets. First, we have the post. These basically hold up each SmartScreen. You'll need at least 2, one for each side of the SmartScreen sections. If you're installing more than one screen section, you'll need an extra post for each join. For example, if you're installing 2 vertical screens, you'll need 3 posts, one for each outer edge and one to join both screens. If you're installing 5 vertical screens, you'll need 6 posts, 2 for the outside edge and 4 for the joins. If you're attaching the system to a hard surface, just note that each post will be a little bit taller than the height of the SmartScreen section you want to install. There is a little bit of wiggle room within the post and rail system for height adjustment, but ideally you'll want the hard surface to be level. If you're embedding the posts into the ground, you'll need a longer post, at least 600 mm, which can be concreted in. For what we're doing today, however, we're just going to attach our system onto a hard surface. For each post, you'll need a base plate. These are what attach the posts to the hard surface. You won't need a base plate if you're embedding and concreting the posts into the ground. You'll need 1 bottom rail per SmartScreen section. This comes with 2 L-shaped angle brackets that screw into the post just above the base plate. You'll need 2 adapter rails for each SmartScreen section. The adapter rails slip into the grooves in each post, allowing for easy insertion of the SmartScreen. You'll need a top rail for each SmartScreen section, and this also comes with 2 L-shaped angle brackets. And finally, a top plate for each post. All components come with the necessary screws and attachments. The only thing you'll have to purchase from your local trade store are heavy-duty bolts or long screws to attach the base plate to the hard surface. You'll need a battery or electric drill with a number 2 Phillips driver bit for the screws provided. If you're installing the system onto concrete, you'll also need a masonry drill and an 8mm masonry drill bit for drilling holes into the concrete. It's a good idea to have eye and ear protection, a brush and dustpan, and a little tip, a bike pump with a thin nozzle to blow the drilled hole free of any dust that's fallen in. The first thing we're going to do is attach a base plate to the bottom of the post. It doesn't matter which way around these go. You should find 12 screws with each base plate, 3 screws for each side. The screws are self-drilling, but remember not to over-tighten them and screw them in too deep. Following the same procedure, attach the second base plate to the second post. Now that we have 2 posts and base plates ready, we're going to assemble the bottom rail. The open side of the rail faces up, as this is what the SmartScreen will drop into. Take the L-shaped brackets, slide them into each end with the outside edge going up, then screw the brackets into place using the screws provided. The next thing we're going to do
is measure and mark out where the posts need to go. If there's a post that needs to be in a certain position, up against a wall or in the corner of the deck for example, it's a good idea to use that as an initial marker and work your way out from there. Because we're just creating a straight line, we're going to use this as our first mark. Take the first post and base plate and place it onto the hard surface in the correct position. Then place the second post the width of the SmartScreen away. If the ground is uneven, or if it's windy, you might want someone to hold the posts until you secure them to the ground. The next thing we're going to do is loosely insert the bottom rail into the first post. Remember to keep the outside edge of the bracket facing up. Then slide the other end into the second post. At this point, we're not going to tighten it just yet. All we're doing is marking out exactly where we want the posts and base plates to go so we can drill the holes in the correct spot, knowing that everything is lined up. It's important to get this step right so everything else afterwards lines up nice and straight. To make it easier, I'm going to put the framework aside so I can drill into the wood. As I said before, you'll need to purchase suitable dynabolts or long screws to attach the base plate to your specific hard surface. We're attaching to wood, so we have long screws, but if you're attaching to concrete, buy 8mm dynabolts. Get as long a dynabolt as you can, but remember to check the depth of the concrete you're drilling into. You don't want to drill through the concrete, as there will likely be protective material underneath that's preventing moisture from rising through the concrete, and you don't want to pierce that. Once the holes are drilled, replace the posts and base plates, lining them up over the holes, then screw or bolt into place. Again, it might be helpful to have someone holding the post until it's secure. Then do the same with the second post. With the two posts now secured in place, we can tighten the screws on the bottom rail on each side. Take an adapter rail and slide it into the posts on the inside. They just fit into the slot and slide down. Make sure you check that the adapter extrusions are cut 30mm shorter than the height of your screen panel. For example, if your screen is 1800mm high, cut the adapter to 1770mm high. Our next step is to carefully slide the SmartScreen into place. The panels are relatively light, but it's a good idea to use a small ladder to get yourself in a stable position to securely hold the screen. Gently lower the SmartScreen until it slides into the adapter rail on each side, then lower it to the bottom of the poles. Great work, we're almost done. Next, we're going to insert the top rail. Just like the bottom rail, the L-shaped brackets slide into each end, with the outside edges facing up. But this time, the open end is going to be facing down. Slide it into place, then fasten the screws into the post. There are 3 reversible adapters supplied with each post. You can use these to cover any of the exposed slots. With the first SmartScreen section in place, it's simply a matter of repeating the process for each additional section. The great thing about this system is that it's easy to swap out and change the screens to give yourself a different look. Just unscrew the top rail, lift the SmartScreens out and swap it with another design. If you were stacking 2 SmartScreen panels horizontally, there are longer bottom rails available, but the principle will still be the same. Your second post would be secured twice the distance away, then you could simply slide the 2 panels between the posts and secure in place with the longer top rail. Our small privacy screen is only 2 sections wide, but if you're continuing in a straight line, you'll insert the adapter plate and SmartScreen here. If you're creating a 90-degree corner, you can insert the adapter plate into the slots on either side. You can even use 3 SmartScreen panels to go in a T-shape if you have a more complex design that separates multiple areas. With all the posts and panels in place, the final step is to attach the top cap onto each of the posts. Just sit it in place and fasten with the 1 screw supplied. And there we have it, a simple to install, elegant looking privacy fence using the SmartScreen post and rail system.